It's finally time to put together an 80s retro wave themed keyboard, and that all starts with the Endless-80. I've been waiting for the right board to pair with GMK Laser, and I think this is it for me. The Endless-80 is a 10 keyless kit that was available through group buy on KBDFans a couple months ago and was priced around $420. Today I'll be putting this board together and providing my thoughts on it as we go along. The Endless-80 comes in a variety of colorways from beige to purple, which is nice to see from the usual black, white, silver, and maybe blue that I'm used to seeing. It's a top mount board with a 5-degree typing angle, and we'll see how that sounds and feels later on. The packaging is good. It protects all the components, which is really all that matters to me. It comes with 2 types of foams, one for the plate and the other for the PCB. The plate is aluminum, but there were options for polycarbonate or brass. And I went with a hot swap PCB as there was a solderable PCB available as well. Interestingly enough, the hot swap version only supports a 7U spacebar. A lot of people may say this board has some tacky aesthetic choices, in which I do agree, but that's the entire theme I'm going for with this build. Altogether, I think it works cohesively with what I have in mind. There's the "A Gift from the Future" on the top of the case, as well as a Pixelspace badge and another one on the bottom of the case. There's also these caps lock LED covers that get wedged between the plate and the case and provides an accent to your theme. The anodization came out really good. The purple is deep and vibrant, as well as the green. I was honestly surprised to see this nice of a purple. Also, no visible scratches or scuffs on the outside of the case, which is to be expected at this price point. Now onto the build. The rubber feet are these rubber strips that fit into these oval cutouts and maintain a low profile with the board. First up, I modified the stabilizers and also wanted to try something new by wrapping copper tape around the end of the wire. This in theory will tighten the tolerance inside the stabilizer stem. We'll see how that turns out later. The stabilizers I'm using are from C3. I then wholly modded the stems, lubed the housing and wire with Krytox 205 grade 0, used dielectric grease where the wire meets the housing, placed some band-aid padding underneath the stab wire to reduce ticking, and it all turned out terrible. The stabilizers were way too sluggish with the copper tape and the Holy mod. So I removed the copper tape and left the rest of the modifications, and it turned out great. On the back of the case, there are 4 bolts holding it together, which is less than I thought there would be. The bottom panel would probably flex if there was a bunch of foam and other acoustic material stuffed into the case. Anyways, I then put on the plate foam and the plate to get the switches ready to be installed. As for the choice of switch, I went with the JWK Lilac Linear switches, lubed with Krytox 205 grade 0 for the housing and stem, and Krytox 105 on the springs, and filmed with KBDFans Films. I then mounted the plate to the top of the case, and the screws are a different hex size than the case assembly bolts. Lastly, I connected the RGB strip to the PCB, added the PCB foam, and attached the bottom of the case. Fairly straightforward and simple, and not a ton of foam either. And to finish the aesthetic cohesion of this build, I went with GMK Laser to complete the look. I also decided to use almost all of the novelties, which I think suit the quirks of the Endless-80s aesthetics. With this all put together, let's see how this sounds with various acoustic adjustments. I think my favorite of the selection was the plate foam with the tape mod and no PCB foam underneath, as I found the PCB foam to mute the board a bit too much for my liking. The tape mod deepens the sound a bit, but also provides that poppy flavor that the Lilac switches already have. Now here's a full sound test on my preferred foam and acoustic adjustment for this board. Top mount design gives the board an even sound throughout, as it should. However, it is quite stiff for typing experience, which does not come as a surprise. Which is up to preference what kind of typing experience you want, but for me, I would like a little bit more flex. There is the polycarbonate plate option, which might help with that. However, I wish they offered an FR4 half plate, which I think would really shine here. Maybe someone will come out with that on the aftermarket, but for now, I'm very happy with how this sounds. Does this kit warrant the $420? Personally, I think so, but I can see why some people in the hobby may think it's too expensive, mostly because it's top mount and not gasket mount. I can understand that. However, visually, this is one of the most unique looking TKLs that have been released in a minute. While yes, it is certainly quirky, it is exactly what I was looking for to pair with these keycaps. Not to mention the color looks fantastic and the coating is nearly flawless. I can't tell you guys enough how happy I am with this purple. You know what else pairs nicely with this board? This custom USB cable from CableMod. You may know CableMod in the PC hardware space, but now they're making custom cables of their own with their own configurator online. A link in the description will be available down below. The links to mostly everything will be listed down below, so if you have any questions, ask here in the comments or on Discord. Consider subscribing and checking out the rest of the channel. I'll catch you guys in the next one.